To tackle different types of the problems, we need to have different types of neural network architecture. Therefore, the combinations of output layers and activations, and also the loss functions are particularly important. There are two main types of problems that neural network can address. One is the classifications, and the other one is the regressions. For classifications, there are three main types. The first is a binary output, that is 0 or 1. In this case, we will use sigmoid activation function to determine the output's probability and then run off these probabilities to guess 0 or 1. And of course, for loss functions, because it's a binary output, we will simply apply binary cost entropy. For the second types of the problems, that is the single labels, multiple classes, it means that there are different classes and we need to determine these labels belongs to which class. But remember that we only have one labels here. So it's just like a classifiers, and only one of these class is to be selected for each time. To ensure only one class is selected each time, we will apply a softmax activation functions. And also in the last layer, we will use the categorical cost entropy to train the models. And softmax will returns you a n dimensions vector with sum of all these elements equals to 1. And the one with maximum values is the predicted class. The third types of classifications problems is multiple labels and multiple class. In neural network, when single label is required, we will use a softmax layers as the last layers to learn single probability distributions that range over all the classes. In case where multiple labels, multiple class that is needed, we will use a multiple sigmoid on the last layers, and therefore each predicted class will have its own probability, and the one has the highest probability, it will be the predicted outputs. And in this case, because we are using the sigmoid functions, with the loss functions, we can continue to use the binary cost entropy. The other types of problems that neural network can address is regressions. And say, for example, if the output type is a numerical value between 0 to 1, instead of 0 or 1, that is between 0 to 1, that is a continuous numbers, and a sigmoid functions can be used, and because it will provide you a output value between 0 to 1. And in that case, we can also use the binary cost entropy as the loss functions, or mean square errors as the loss function. And finally, for the last types of regressions problems, if the output is a numerical values, instead of between 0 to 1, that could be any numerical value. And the output layers, by default, we can use the linear functions, linear activation functions. And of course, the loss functions, we can continue to use the mean squared error. And that's it for these videos and this series.